Okay, so I hope you can hear me. I started a video and I had to stop it because the baby was crying. So the video I'm making today, by the way, welcome to Hurting Little Cats to the Glory of God. The video I'm making today, someone asked me when I did my book review video if I had any books to suggest about like helping a young adult into adulthood, things that they should know and everything, and I don't. So that was an easy video, bye. No, I don't have a book that I do, but I thought I would suggest some of the things that I think are really easy to overlook in helping an adult get ready for adulthood, or a young adult get ready for adulthood. So if you haven't been here before, I'm Sarah. Mark and I have a total of 10 kids, and we've already launched 2 of them out of the house with a third who's 18 and lives here at home. I hope you can hear me over the washing machine that's going on in the background. Hey, what do you need? You thirsty? No, but what? You want me? Well, you're supposed to be going and laying down for a nap. Huh? No, it's not ready to get up. You're gonna go watch the show with Daddy. Go. Oh! Real life around here. Okay, oops, I'm putting the wrong things in the wrong... I'm picking chicken while I talk to you. They're watching a show in the other room because it is a very, very hot day here in Maine, which for us is 88, but we don't have air conditioning in every building. And we're just not used to this temperature. So they are actually sitting in the one room we have air conditioning in. We only use it a couple times a year, but today's one of those days it's just very, very hot. And then we're gonna go in the pool in a little bit when the sun gets a little lower in the sky. So, anyway, things that I do to help my kids get ready for adulthood. So one of them is teaching them cooking skills. I left my parents' house, and I love my parents. If you've watched other videos, I think my parents did a great job raising me in a lot of ways. But both my parents cooked, and they both had jobs outside the house. So when they were ready to cook and get the supper on the table, they just didn't have the time to give my sister and I cooking lessons. So we ate good, healthy food. And I'm making a mess over here. I think that they did a good job. Like, I had a good taste for food and everything when I moved out. Like, I didn't just want processed food and stuff, but I didn't know how to cook when I moved out. So processed food is what I fell to because I wasn't gonna mess up processed food. I did know how to make like easy mac and cheese from a box and stuff like that. And so I did that, and I've done other videos about how I didn't have cooking skills, but that's one thing I teach my kids is my kids are in the kitchen from a very early age. So I haven't really started the just turned 1-year-old. He's like 14 months. I haven't really started him on kitchen stuff just because I have so many other people that want to do kitchen stuff, but he'll stand in the kitchen with us. But even like my 7-year-old made some granola bars today from scratch. So just a lot of work in the kitchen at whatever age level they're at. But by the time I'm ready to launch them out of the house, they have a very good understanding of how to cook. And most of my kids are boys. So the 22-year-old, which is the one that just graduated, 22-year-old is the one that's moved out, and the 18-year-old is the one that just graduated. They're both girls, but my oldest son is 29, and he actually works in a kitchen. He cooks. So I've taught that skill to all the kids, not just my girls. Some people I know that's like, would say that's girls' work or whatever, but I think everybody needs to know how to cook. So I have some really good cooks in the house. With that also though is learning how to budget, because if you know how to cook, but the only thing that you know how to cook is really expensive food, it's not gonna help well in a house if you have a limited budget. When Mark and I first got married, I had come from a house that my parents were well off. Like, we were middle class, we weren't like rich, but we could go to the store and we could just choose, oh, I wanna eat tacos this week, and we'd go buy all the taco ingredients. When Mark and I got married, Mark, quickly after we got married, was put on disability. He couldn't work. And we actually had a few months that we were waiting to get his disability check. So we had super low finances, and I didn't know how to cook very well. And so that was really a struggle because I couldn't buy a chicken and cook that up for the week because I was afraid I was gonna mess it up and then we wouldn't have any food to eat and that would be a problem. So I think it's very important, along with teaching your kids how to cook, is teaching them how to cook on a budget, because most kids are going to start off life with a lesser income than the house that they're coming from. Doesn't always happen, but like my parents were middle class and they tell stories of when I was little, before I remember, of needing to go through the couch cushions and find change to be able to go get milk at the store, because they were both like starting their careers and they weren't making huge amounts of money. But I don't remember that. I remember as a kid, you know, us going out to dinner on a regular basis. Not like all the time, but like we could go out to dinner. It wasn't a hassle. And so it was just very different. So when you move out of your parents' house, you usually have to possibly live by different finances than you were used to. And so teaching them how to cook on a budget, how to have a pantry, all of those things. But then on top of those things, I think we just don't introduce our kids to a lot of things that are happening in the real world, things that we have to deal with as adults, that we could hand over to our kids. So we have kids who help with the taxes every year, because they need to know how to do those when they grow up, and they need to know how to fill in all the little boxes and all those things. And so it's good for them to learn. We have kids who help with the bills, and I think you should only give information to your kids that is age appropriate. And if you're living paycheck to paycheck and you're afraid that it's going to bother the kids, that you don't have like money in savings, that they're going to be worried about finances, this isn't the thing to do. We don't have a lot for like a lot of money. We don't make a lot of money per month, but my kids have never known hunger. And we live in a place, if you haven't watched our channel before, I'm picking chicken, that's why I keep looking over here. We rent from my mother. And so we live on her property, and we have always, every month, paid her rent. I think one Christmas, maybe 2 Christmases, she asked us not to pay rent for the next month, and that was kind of her Christmas present to us. But actually, no, I don't even think that's what it was. Anyway, we pay rent every month, but because we have this situation, my kids don't have to be worried about, well, what if the money doesn't come in next month? Because grandma's not gonna kick us out. Again, we pay her every month. We don't take advantage of her or anything like that. But it is different than renting from a landlord that you're afraid you're getting an eviction notice. So I feel like I can share our finances with the kids in such a way that they're not worried, are we gonna be out on the street next week? And with food, they know that we have a very set amount that we spend on food, but we would never let the kids go hungry. And so if we needed to get food stamps or we needed to go to the food pantry, we would do that and not let the kids go hungry. So again, I think you need to be wise in sharing this information with your kids so as not to worry them. And if you have a child who's very anxious about things, it'd be different. But that's one thing, is having them help with the bill paying. So helping, write the check, not necessarily be the one to write the check, but hey, what amount should I put here? Oh, what do I put in this spot? So that they know how checks are written. Having them, and go to the bank with you if you need to get out cash or a money order or something like that. Having your child call the doctor's office for their own appointment. And yes, you might need to finish that phone call, but that was one thing that I did not have my kids do enough that I'm going to do with my other kids, is having them make phone calls, not just to like grandparents, those are good too, like they need to learn how to use the phone for that kind of call, but calling call the pediatrician's office and say, hi, I need to set up an appointment. Oh, what's your name? When's your birthday? And then, okay, I'll take that over from here. Standing with the child while they do it. but making it so it's not a big scary task. It's something that you're right there to support them in. But they learning how to talk on the phone isn't about learning how to type in the numbers and hit dial. It's about how do you talk to the person when they answer? What information are you trying to get or give? And are you doing a good job doing that? Like this morning, I had to call the pharmacy about a medication. And that's something that you can hand over to the child if it's the child's medication. It was a different thing, but you can hand that over to a child. Taking children into the grocery store and having them pay the clerk. And maybe that, I mean, I'm talking about how to get kids ready for adulthood, but if you're starting this with a young child, let's say I have a 3-year-old. So let's say we go to the store and I'm gonna pay by cash. And so I say, here, can you hand this to the lady or the gentleman who's doing the cashier? Because the kids need to learn those skills too, how to talk nicely to an adult. But if they're an older child, teach them how to scan the groceries, teach them how to load everything into bags. I don't know where you live. In Maine, we don't have bags anymore. You just throw everything in the cart and then you gotta get it in your car. Or you take your own reusable bags. But anyway, doing those tasks. Maybe taking them to fill out paperwork and have them to start the paperwork process. Yes, you're probably gonna have to finish the paperwork process for them. But if you go to the doctor's office, especially if you have like a 10 to 15-year-old child, have them fill out their name, have them fill out their birthday, have them go through, I know some of those lists can get really tedious of all the different things, but when I go to the doctor's office with even my young ones who can't read yet and stuff, I tell them what I'm filling out because they need to know when they ask you this, when you're standing here in front of the little electronic scanner thing and they ask you to sign your name, you need to know what you're signing. So I will tell back to my child what they're telling me I'm signing. Oh, we're filling out this, this is a consent to treat. We're filling this out because we're telling them that yes, they have the right to treat you when we figure out what might be wrong with you. Or yes, this gives them permission to send your information to our other doctor, or it gives them permission to send the information to the insurance company. All of that is good for them to know how to fill out. And when I do like the questionnaires, like I don't know if this is normal, I have an itch, at other, like in other states, but our pediatrician office always has, at your well child, they always have something that it asks, has anything big or scary happened in the last 12 months? You know, has someone hurt you or hurt your family, anything like that? Or do you have, do you have enough food in your home? And so I say those questions with the kids and I explain to them why we're saying what we do. Like, you might say, no, we don't have enough food because we haven't eaten cookies enough, but that's not what they're asking. They're asking, are you actually hungry? Do you go to bed at night with hungry belly? You know, do you know that we have enough food in the cabinets to keep you healthy? That type of thing. And we talk through those things. It's all very important for kids. So taking them to pick up their prescription, we talked about talking on the phone, but taking them to pick it up, going up to the desk and saying, hi, my name is this, I need to pick up my prescription. Filling out paperwork that like comes in the mail. I saved something because we got, I don't know, it's like a climate study. I don't know what it is. And I might even decide not to send it in, but we're going to use the paperwork and show the kids how you fill out what the different things are, because this one has like boxes that you're checking or not checking, or you're writing information within a certain space. And that's all good stuff to know. My kids don't, because we're homeschoolers, we don't have to do weird noises from the bedroom. Because we're homeschoolers, we don't have to do standardized testing. And if you choose to do standardized testing, that's fine. But what I was gonna say is, because we don't do standardized testing, my kids don't know how to fill out the little bubble thing. When they take driver's ed, they do it, and Samuel did just fine on his driver's ed test. So I don't think it's a necessary thing, but it is something that you might have to fill out forms with that. And I don't want my kids to be 25 and have to go up to the counter and be like, excuse me, could you help me fill this out? But there is also the time as a child with mom and dad there to have them ask those questions. Have them go with you when you have the inspection on your car. Here in Maine, we need to do car inspections once a year. So have them go with you and hear the mechanic talking about what's happening and how much that's going to cost. Oh, is there a cheaper way to do that? There's just a lot of different things that we as adults do every day that we might not think to talk to the kids about. When you give them medicine as an older child, I'm not saying as like a 5-year-old, but when you give them medicine, showing them how you read the side of the package to see what weight they are and explain to them. So you're 75 pounds. It says if you're between 60 and 80, here's the amount you get. Or, here's why we do this medication. Oh, let's check that it doesn't have anything like other things we're not allowed to have. Like I know some things you're not allowed to have too much grapefruit if you have certain medications. So talk about those things with the kids. I'm trying to think of other things that just are normal everyday activities. Talking to the mailman, having them go up and meet the mailman to get the mail, or meet the delivery driver at the door. Thank you, have a great day, that type of thing. Maybe it's going to the post office to send a letter. I need to send this letter certified mail. It needs to go to this place. No, it does not have any liquids in it. All those things are very important questions to know. Making a order on, like we have Walmart delivery, so I can hand over my phone, even like I'd say my 10-year-old, my 8-year-old probably, or almost 8-year-old could do this. And if I said, can you get on Amazon or Walmart and could you order us whole milk, a gallon of whole milk? He knows what the kind is that we buy. So looking at the pictures on Walmart, he'd be able to find that. I would of course check his order and make sure he didn't buy us 120 gallons of milk or anything like that. But letting him go through that process, all under supervision. Ordering from Amazon. Hey guys, we need to order more dish soap. Here's what we're gonna do, and let them see the process of that. So those are some suggestions I have for just getting kids involved in everyday how to make life work. Also, all the chores that you do within the house. So I said a lot of things you do outside the house, but cooking, cleaning, laundry. When I was a kid, I don't really remember folding my laundry. I do remember washing my laundry as I got older, but I went to college and there were kids who had never washed laundry before. They did not know how to use a washing machine. And yes, every washer is different and all of that, but letting them try it at different people's houses. When we go on vacation, we stay with different people, and so we'll use their washing machine. So, oh, here, how do we get this set? We ask the person we're staying with, how do you set your laundry? But giving them exposure to those different laundry services, like washing machines, because they're all different. Having them make the coffee in the morning, having them learn how to make bread in the bread machine. That was my washing machine. And my 7-year-old is in charge of making sure the washing machine, we get stuff from the washer or the dryer, or we get stuff hung out. Not that people don't help him, but he'll say, hey guys, it's time to go dry. It's time to go hang out laundry. Doing any lawn maintenance that's needed for your house, whether that's teaching them how to mow the lawn, how to use the weed whacker, weed trimmer, whatever you call it in your place. Teaching them how to do small handyman skills, like tighten doorknobs. The screws get loose on the doorknobs and then they don't work as well, so tightening the doorknobs. Mark just did that yesterday with child. Teaching them to change a light bulb, change batteries in the smoke detectors. Just those things that it would be easier if I just did it, but if I have the child come alongside and do it with me, it teaches them valuable skills that they could use one day in life. And it helps them to feel accomplished about something. It helps them to see, wow, we had a room that was dark because the light bulb didn't work and I made it so that it was light. So there's my suggestions on how to help kids learn about the future and adulthood. I need to go wash. So I'll see you guys next time on Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God. Bye.